Beagle. Beagle.
Beak.
Beak.
Beaker.
Beaker.
Beam.
Beam.
The beam of a powerful flashlight. A laser beam.
A beam of delight.
Our guesses were way off beam. Sherman looked at his sons and beamed proudly.
Connie beamed with pleasure.
McLeish beamed at her.
The first sports broadcast to be beamed across the Atlantic.
The sun beamed through the clouds.
Beamer.
Beamer.
That's his white Beamer convertible over there.
Bean.
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 Baked beans.
Soak the beans overnight. Kidney beans. Green beans.
Coffee beans. Cocoa beans. She's full of beans this morning.
Bean.
Beanbag.
Beanbag.
Bean counter.
Bean counter.
Since the bean counters took over the radio station, it's become a boring place to work.
Bean curd.
Bean curd.
Bean feast.
Bean feast.
Beanie.
Beanie.
Beanpole.
Beanpole.
Bean sprout.
Bean sprout.
Bear.
Bear.
She was afraid she wouldn't be able to bear the pain.
Overcrowding makes prison life even harder to bear.
Make the water as hot as you can bear. The humiliation was more than he could bear. Black people continue to bear the brunt of most racial violence.
Passengers could be insulting, and stewardesses just had to grin and bear it. Experts were worried the financial system would not be able to bear the strain. Please don't leave me. I couldn't bear it.
I just can't bear the thought of having to start all over.
I can't bear to see her cry. I couldn't bear not seeing him again. Oh, I really can't bear him. He can't bear people smoking while he's eating.
I can't bear being cold.
Bear in mind that some children will need help.
Each company will bear half the costs of development. Fares have gone up, perhaps to more than the market will bear.
Developed countries bear much of the responsibility for environmental problems.
My leg was painful, and I wasn't sure it would bear my weight.
A tray bearing a bottle and several glasses.
A load-bearing wall.
The letter bore no signature.
A car bearing diplomatic license plates.
The labels bear a yellow and black symbol.
The town still bears the scars of the bombings during the war.
The store bears the hallmarks of a family-owned business.
The child bore a striking resemblance to his father. The things she says bear little relation to what she actually does. She might never be able to bear children.
She bore him 3 sons.
Charles's diplomacy eventually bore fruit.
The production figures did not bear scrutiny.
We believe our pupils' results will bear comparison with any in Scotland.
The story is well known, but it certainly bears repeating. The long-term consequences of a nuclear leak don't bear thinking about.
The wedding guests arrived bearing gifts.
The U.S. Constitution states that the people have a right to bear arms.
Unions can bring pressure to bear on governments.
The empty workshops bear witness to the industrial past. It was an accident. I don't bear any grudges.
He was just doing his job, and I bore him no malice. When you reach the fork in the trail, bear left. When you reach the fork in the trail, bear left. She bore herself with great dignity. The sound of music was borne along the wind.
He bore the name Magnus.
A storm bearing down on the island.
Federal regulators have been bearing down on campaign contributors.
The national policies which bear on these problems.
Evidence bears out the idea that students learn best in small groups.
How is he bearing up since the accident?
Bear with me a minute and I'll check if Mr. Guerin's in.
It's boring, but please bear with it.
Bear.
A mother bear and her cubs.
The chemistry test was a bear.
Bearable.
Bearable.
His friendship was the one thing that made life bearable.
Bear claw.
Bear claw.
Beard.
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 Bearer.
Bearer.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but...
They see themselves as the bearers of Jewish tradition.
Bear hug.
Bear hug.
Bearing.
Bearing.
Exercise has a direct bearing on how healthy you are.
I completely lost my bearings in the dark.
Young men who have lost their bearings in a changing society.
He paused to get his bearings. An introduction session helps new students get their bearings. Learning to take a compass bearing.
Bearish.
Bearish.
Bear market.
Bear market.
Bearskin.
Bearskin.
Beast.
Beast.
You beast, let go!
A city at night is a very different beast.
Beastly.
Beastly.
Beastly weather.
Beast of burden.
Beast of burden.
Beat.
Beat.
Brazil were beaten 2-1.
Labour easily beat the Conservatives in the last election.
I beat him more often at pool than he beats me.
Photographs of rioters beating a policeman. He was questioned and beaten. The woman had been beaten to death by her husband.
2 prisoners were beaten unconscious.
Waves beat against the cliffs. Rain beating on the windows.
Sid beat on the door with his hand.
The record set by Kirsten in '84 has yet to be beaten.
The company's profits are unlikely to beat last year's £10 million.
Fresh milk beats powdered milk any time.
Well, said Cully, it beats going to the office.
You can't beat swimming as a good all-body exercise.
Nothing beats homemade cake.
For excitement, you just can't beat college basketball.
Beat the eggs, then add the milk.
Gradually beat in the sugar. Beat the butter and sugar together until fluffy.
Advice on how to beat depression. The government's long fight to beat inflation.
The average person's heart beats 70 times a minute. Jennifer's heart was beating fast.
Raikkonen has 42 points, which will take some beating.
Florida takes some beating as a vacation destination.
We left at 4 a.m. to beat the traffic.
Shopping by mail order lets you beat the queues.
Shop now and beat the Christmas rush. John had beaten me to the breakfast table. I wanted the last piece of pie, but somebody beat me to it.
They wanted to make it into a film, but another studio beat them to the punch.
Don't beat around the bush. Ask for your account to be paid, and paid quickly.
Accountants know a few ways to beat the system. The new design was supposed to have consumers beating a path to their door.
He beat a hasty retreat when he spotted me.
The company managed to beat the clock on delivering its new system. Beats me why he wants such a big car.
What's he saying? Beats me.
They've got 8 children. Can you beat that?
I've been beating my brains out all week trying to finish this essay.
A conductor beating time with his baton. It's raining to beat the band. Fresh lemonade is a great way to beat the heat.
He wanted £4,500 for the car, but I beat him down to £3,850.
The women seemed beaten down.
McConnell beat off a challenge for his Senate seat.
Lockheed beat out a rival company to win the contract. Roberts beat out Tony Gwynn for the Most Valuable Player award.
Her boyfriend got drunk and beat her up.
If you do your best and you lose, you can't beat yourself up about it.
A heart rate of 80 beats a minute.
The steady beat of the drum.
The beat of marching feet.
A song with a beat you can dance to.
Journalists covering the Washington beat.
People like to see police officers on the beat.
I'm beat. Come and sit down. You must be dead beat.
Beatbox.
Beatbox.
Beaten. Beaten.
A well-beaten path through the forest.
A beaten man who had lost his job.
Beater.
Beater.
An egg beater. A carpet beater.
Beatific.
Beatific.
Beatify.
Beatify.
Beating.
Beating.
A brutal beating.
The Dodgers took a real beating on Saturday.
Beatnik.
Beatnik.
Beat up.
Beat up.
A beat-up old Ford Escort.
Bow.
Bow.
Butte.
Butte.
That last catch was a beaut.
Beauteous.
Beauteous.
The beauteous Helen of Troy.
Beautician.
Beautician.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
She was even more beautiful than I had remembered.
A beautiful bunch of flowers.
Beautiful music.
What a beautiful shot.
The weather was beautiful. Beautify.
Beautify.
Plants to beautify the garden.
Beauty.
Beauty.
Her beauty and grace.
An area of outstanding natural beauty. Millions of dollars are spent each year on beauty products.
She was considered a great beauty in her youth.
The beauty of Shakespeare's verse.
The beauty of email is its speed and ease of use.
You should have seen the boat. A real beauty.
Beauty contest.
Beauty contest.
Beauty mark.
Beauty mark.
Beauty parlor.
Beauty parlor.
Beauty queen.
Beauty queen.
Beauty salon.
Beauty salon.
Beauty sleep.
Beauty sleep.
Beauty spot.
Beauty spot.
Guests will be able to visit some of the local beauty spots.
Beaver.
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 He's been beavering away at his homework for hours.
Bebop.
Bebop.
Becalmed.
Becalmed.
The stock market was becalmed yesterday as dealers waited for company results.
Became.
Became.
Because.
Because.
We didn't enjoy the day because the weather was so awful.
Why can't I go? Because you're not old enough.
Hubert never experienced any fear, and this was partly because he was not particularly intelligent. Many exam candidates lose marks simply because they do not read the questions properly. I decided to go with them, mainly because I had nothing better to do.
Just because you're my brother doesn't mean I have to like you.
He had to retire because of ill health.
We spent 3 hours waiting in the rain because of you.
Beck.
Beck.
I was tired of being at her beck and call all day long.
Beckon.
Beckon.
I could see my husband beckoning me. She beckoned to the waitress to bring more wine.
He beckoned us over and introduced us to his wife.
A career in the film industry beckoned.
Early retirement beckoned for George.
Become.
Become.
The weather became warmer. Slowly my eyes became accustomed to the darkness. Helen became increasingly anxious about her husband's strange behaviour.
Pollution from cars has become a major problem. George became king at the age of 54.
When did you first want to become a teacher?
Blue really becomes her. Don't try to be clever, it doesn't become you.
What became of those Chinese vases that Mum used to have?
Whatever will become of Sam when his wife dies.
Becoming.
Becoming.
Her short hairstyle is very becoming.
She received the praise with becoming modesty.
Becquerel.
Becquerel.
Bed. Bed.
Simon lay in bed thinking. You should go to bed early.
She got into bed and turned out the light.
Dad has a whiskey before bed. I came home and found him in bed with my best friend.
He wanted me to go to bed with him.
He's been trying to get his secretary into bed. She told me he was good in bed.
The seabed.
Rosebeds. Rosebeds.
Prawns on a bed of lettuce.
An oyster bed.
The birds build their nests in reed beds along the riverbank. Life isn't always a bed of roses, you know.
The foundations were bedded in cement. Can I bed down on your sofa?
Bed and board.
Bed and board.
Bed and breakfast.
Bed and breakfast.
Is there anyone who does bed and breakfast round here?
Bed and breakfast accommodation.
There's a bed and breakfast in the next village.
Bedazzled.
Bedazzled.
Bed bath.
Bed bath.
Bed blocking.
Bed blocking.
Bedbug.
Bedbug.
Bed chamber.
Bed chamber.
Bed clothes.
Bed clothes.
Bedding.
Bedding.
Bedeck.
Bedeck.
A balcony bedecked with hanging baskets.
Bedevil.
Bedevil.
A society bedevilled by racial tensions.
Bedfellow.
Bedfellow.
Rugby and art seem strange bedfellows.
Bedhead.
Bedhead.
Bedlam.
Bedlam.
When the bomb exploded, there was bedlam.
Bed linen.
Bed linen.
Bedouin.
Bedouin.
Bedpan.
Bedpan.
Bedpost.
Bedpost. Bedraggled. Bedraggled.
Bedraggled soldiers crawled into camp.
Bedridden.
Bedridden.
Bedrock.
Bedrock.
Marriage and children are the bedrock of family life.
Bedroll.
Bedroll. Bedroom. Bedroom.
A hotel with 50 bedrooms. They've just bought a new 4-bedroom house in Edinburgh.
Bedroom community.
Bedroom community.
Bedside.
Bedside.
Relatives have been at his bedside all week.
The clock on her bedside table said 4:30.
Bedside manner.
Bedside manner.